Here's page 3, exercise 6. And it's still addition. This is the last addition. I'm going to go to vertical format again, copy the first polynomial, 4x to the fourth plus 2x to the third. This is kind of tedious work, but be careful, you get rewarded with the correct answer. Okay, so I copy that, then right underneath I'm going to say I'm adding, so I just write the like terms underneath. Minus 10x to the fourth plus 2x to the third minus 5x squared minus 1x. And now I can add 4 and negative 10, that's negative 6x to the fourth. Notice I think I said this earlier, it's x to the fourth. Still, it doesn't become x to the eighth. We don't add the exponents, you add the coefficients. 2 and 2 is 4, so we have 4x to the third. Negative 9 and negative 5, that's negative 14. X to the second. And 3 and negative 1, that makes that plus 2x. Okay, so that's exercise 6 result. Now 7 is subtraction, and there are a few different ways to approach this, but I'm going to show you what I think is the safest way to do a subtraction, which is to first rewrite the problem. Instead of subtract this, we're going to change it to add the opposite. So I'm going to rewrite this. Let me do this over here. It's 6x squared plus 5x. And then instead of take away 3x squared, I'm going to say plus negative 3x squared. And instead of take away 7x, I'm going to write plus negative 7x. And now I can rewrite this in vertical format like I did the others. You could go left to right and combine the like terms. I know that's easy enough to do, but I'm trying to be super careful. So put negative 3x squared goes underneath the 6x squared and the minus 7x right there. Okay, so as I add, I get 3x squared and 5 and minus 7, that makes that minus 2. Now, if you want, you get 6 minus 3, 3x squared, 5 minus 7 minus 2x. You can do it horizontally if you're not uncomfortable with that a little more quickly. But be careful if the powers don't match. You can get things mixed up. So again, I'm going to rewrite this. Let me be a little more careful this time. I'm going to keep the parentheses there, and I'm going to change this to add the opposite of everything in here. So that becomes minus, that becomes minus, that becomes plus. See, I changed the subtract to add, the opposite, and I opposited everything that was inside the parentheses. Okay, so now, going back to the vertical format, I write 2x squared minus 5x plus 7, and then directly underneath, squares with squares, x's with x's, loose numbers with loose numbers. And we're ready to finish it off. 2 and minus 3 makes that minus 1, or just minus x squared, minus 16x plus 8. And that's the end of that. And then here's this kind of lengthy final exercise on this page. So again, being super careful, like I want to be on my final exam. And just thinking about that makes me kind of sad. Won't get to see you guys in person again until the fall, maybe, walking around. Instead of subtract these, I'm going to add their opposites. So that becomes a positive x to the third, that becomes minus 6x squared, that becomes minus 2x, that becomes a plus 5. And now, some of you can work left to right, combining the like terms, but I'm going to do it vertical again. 2x cubed minus 5x squared plus 7x plus 11. And then right underneath, x to the third minus 6x squared minus 2x plus 5. And before I write this answer, let me zoom out for a minute. Let me do this horizontally, just so you can see what that looks like. X cubes with x cubes. 2 and 1, 3x cubed. And minus 5 and minus 6, that's minus 11x squared. And 7x minus 2x, that's plus 5x. And then 11 plus 5, that's 16 at the end. Okay. For the really adventurous, or maybe just for the really impatient, no offense, if I don't do that change, I can say 2x cubed, take away negative becomes add the opposite, becomes plus 1. So I get the 3x cubed that way. Minus 5, take away 6, that's the minus 11x squared. 7 minus 2, 5x squared. Or 11 minus negative 5 becomes add 5. Okay, so there's the same answer going that way. And if we do it vertically, there's the 3, and the minus 11, and the plus 5, and the plus 16. Okay? So 3 different ways. Same exercise. That's the end of page 3.